Your mom's been a wonderful person in that regard because so much staunch supporter of what I'm trying to do, and yeah, it's a blessing to this day. We still all have all the connection.
Yeah, we've been definitely been blessed in that space, and I think families. There's a family that was really well, and there's struggling, and there's always the family that's wanting more. From our standpoint, there's no one's bigger to be able to give to the game the same way, the way that you always say dress, you got to dress the right way, be sharp and be smooth, right? And carry yourself when you go out in public the right way, like from a young age, from not having a barber here to, like, come on, Pop, cut my hair. First time you cut it, I was looking like this. Huh? Tears that rolled down, baby, was like, you ain't never like take that, but
I know, right? And the same with these two dudes over here. They don't let me cut their hair no more. Although Brooklyn gave me a chance to fade them out on the side. But I didn't want to mess that up. But yeah, I tried to braid Shakira's hair. I had a little problem there. Her stuff is thick and long. But I tried. I tried. But yeah, Craig, the journey for us Brutons, for me coming out here in 1979, but I was coming off a trash truck, in the winter of Wichita, Kansas, where CJ and Elliot was born. And it was minus 30 degrees, and my truck broke down in the dump. And I had to walk home, and the boys peel my clothes off. And the next day, I had to go back out, and they said, "Here we go, Dad." And so they both hopped in the cabin with me. I was in the car. We went to get my truck, jumped with the boss, and then bang, we're on the road with the wife. And she's driving. I'm picking up the trash, and these dudes are taking off the lids, putting on the lids. And they had a ball. They jumped into snow. It's 3 feet of snow. But you know what? That trash was my cash. I had to get it. And then before you know it, I get a chance to change that all up and bring myself to Australia to set the path for the opportunity to bring them all back together.
It's talk about the Pop. Let them know about what your mindset was every time, like working as a trash man. Like, it's not one of those jobs that everyone's like, oh, I want to put my hand up to go be that. But no job is bigger than what, we're all gifted in many ways, but nothing separates you. But how your mindset is to get that trash and go put it in and to keep that mindset ticking over. Because a lot of people, when you talk about sport in general, you just heard Michael Jordan talk about that mindset, that focus that he had. Like, what is it? How do you keep that when you're dumping each lid and running to the spot?
It was a somber experience because I knew that I had family now. I jumped in, and I had to support my family. So that chance to do that came quickly on that trash truck, and I looked at it, as I mentioned, that trash was my cash. I had to go get it every 150 stops on my own, and that gave me the strength, to feel that if I can get this done, I can just about do anything, because I even brought out one of my little young players, Boozer, from the U.S. to come and join me so I can help him, and basically he can handle it. Within 2 weeks, he's going back. So I was on that trash truck. And that, to me, gave me the chance that, I'm going to try with an NBA team. I still had that dream, and I would play every afternoon, and I would go to university in the morning to finish my degree. And I always felt, because my dad only had one hand, and he was a mechanic, and he never let any car outwhip him. He had a magnetic glove, he can get his tools. And my mom, when I used to crawl, get him out. I don't want him being that grease monkey. Get him out from underneath that car, And I basically was shielded from that, but I watched him the whole time. And that gave me the courage to say, you know what? If my dad can do that, and I only had him for 7 years, then I got to be that guy. And as soon as my mom told me that I was that guy for her and my 2 younger sisters, I was on a mission, Doc. And then you came along. I was like, Dad, I got to get busy now.
lot more to it now.
I know I love CJ's ability to tell stories, and I've just discovered where he's got that ability. He has one of the absolute amazing ability to tell a story, and I can see where he gets it from. So that's amazing. And to talk about work ethic and that whole thing, of having a role as a trash collector. The fact in life is every job's important, otherwise it wouldn't exist. And a lot of people think they're above those tasks and those jobs, but the fact is the only thing I have an issue with, and a lot of people do, is it seems like the world's flipped on its head when it comes to remuneration. That some of the most important jobs in the world are paid the least. So, yeah. So you guys have an amazing basketball journey. Obviously, I think, Cal, you had something like 250 games. At least that's what you said, unless you've played some extra NBL games.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Swap with CJ.
I would have paid, 250 NBL games was 1,000 games in Victoria back then.
Today's world.
Yeah.
I was playing. Yeah, you played PBA games in the midweek. You living in Victoria. And you got Wednesday, you training during the week. So those in off season, you play in the summer season. So yeah, I played thousands of games, and it started with Dave Atkins. He was the guy that ignited my fire, gave me the opportunity, and he created so many for others as well.
So I've got a question for you because I don't know the answer, and I'm too lazy to research, so you might be able to tell me. But you coach played two teams in the NBL. Are there any other coaches that have played?
Three teams.
Three teams, sorry, yeah. Are there any other coach players in the NBL? And you won, did you win both too as a player or just one?
I won not an NBL championship. I won back-to-back Victorian Basketball Association championships as a player coach. So my first playing coaching job was in Geelong in 1982. 3-4 games into the NBL season. Then my second coaching job was in Perth from 1987, pretty much 86 to 1980, end of 88, and then Hobart, in Tasmania, and I never coached a team before, of course, and the guys that was there wasn't going to be get the job done the way they wanted to. They called a meeting at practice. They called each of us and asked us, question, we can win the championship, and everybody. And that was our first year in the NBL, so everyone was kind of. But Tim Kaiser went in and said, "No, we don't." And at that time, he went rid of James Crawford because James had suffered a terrific injury, and they wanted him, to rehabilitate himself fully before, we embarked on this season. And they didn't think he can carry it. I said yes, and they came back to call me in the meeting, said they just let Tim Kaiser go, and I was going to be the new coach. So my debut was against Nunawading Spectres, and we lost 25. I got busy. I dropped 40.
I was going to ask too. You averaged your average in your career was up there, wasn't it? It was like in your first few seasons you were scoring over 30 points a game.
Yeah, I was, and I realized early in the piece that if I was going to be a player coach, I couldn't maintain that sort of rate of scoring. And, my pride was always be a team player. I was a point guard in Wichita and all the other teams, so I had to distribute the basketball. And I focused on making my teammates better. So as a player coach, the goal then was to be the best assist man I be, but also I wanted to be efficient from the free throw line, and they didn't have a three-point line back then, So I was dropping numbers 33 a game in a 40-minute game with everybody coming after me. But I understood early that you gotta be a good teammate, and the work ethic, the skill set, the aptitude, the learning, and having fun. Like setting goals and trying to achieve. Having fun was my scheme of things to try to make basketball a fun place to be.
So your son had followed you in the journey, and is sort of boating 6 rings. So that's Jordan territory if he's in the NBA. That's like,
I only got 2.
yeah. So is there rivalry in the family over those sorts of things? Are you a competitive family? Because you seem laid back, but are you competitive internally, like with the brothers and sisters and the siblings?
Totally. Totally. CJ can
So,
speak to it, but I can tell
no,
you one story. I'll tell you the one story. When CJ was starting to really become a player in the Perth, when we moved to Perth, he was 12, 13 years old. He started to rep ball, and he was then maturing and getting taller, and he was just as tall as I was at 14 years of age. And he invited me to his school. And once he was about to graduate, I went in and to visit him and see the teacher wanted me to come to the auditorium. And there was the whole school in the auditorium. And I'm like, wondering, like, what's this? They must be giving him a award. This is going to be nice. And then he comes walking out of this back locker room or whatever it was with a pair of sneakers on me, and everyone's chanting, CJ, CJ. So giving me the sneakers. Now I got a suit and tie on and a sweat jacket. I'm in suit and tie and my patent leather shoes. And he said, put these on. We're about to go to work. And he immediately started spanking me in front of his whole school. And he said, now, Pop, I'm ready. But then the beauty about that, I set myself up get in the best possible shape I can get in when I came back to Perth from Hobart and had the opportunity of playing with him in the backcourt.
Nice.
And that was my first blessing right there. But go, Doc. You can talk about better than this with Elliot and Austin.
So at that time when you're at a dinner table and sitting around, you get the one-on-one with Pops. It's amazing. We all love the game like that. We all grown up around it and wanted to be a part of it, involved with it, from what he did in the community to what he did on the basketball court to how he taught the game to anyone and everyone came through that door. And then when we played with him, he would beat us down like this, you're not winning. And then to go to the dinner table with your brothers and stuff, and he's bragging how he just, man, that was a great day. You see that move? Woo! I just took it. Like, and then my left, like my left is dangerous. It's like you just couldn't eat quick enough to get from the table to your bedroom and cry.
Wash those dishes first. So.
Well, yeah. Well, and then your brothers are looking at you like, what happened? Like, why you got tears? Like, and then eventually they go to that point where, we had the rivalry at home, and then me and my younger brother Austin being a little closer to spending that time together as my older brother taking his journey to playing state and rep and traveling a little more. We had to hoop out the Bruton basketball hoop that my mom and dad were able to create, and we used to get lights on, and mom used to keep score, and used to be Austin I versus my dad, and my mom would call us that. We run out like it was an actual game, and they're the beautiful moments that we share. And then Ellie had his own team, so he was by himself, and Pop was by himself. Austin and I, we would team up, and it was like Kobe and Shaq, like we trying to throw the alley-oops, and everyone could dunk that hoop. So it was like everyone was off he couldn't get off the ground. Not the early stage, but he had a flame. So like his dad, he could shoot the ball. So we had created a 3-point line and had our space. But it was a great tournament that we all got to spend that family time together as well when you were at a stadium, sitting or watching someone play. So that's how it starts out, and then you create your own journey. Being able to beat an older sibling or to be able to beat your pop it's always the ultimate. And I guess I'm old school, being that generation of what gets you over the hump. And I guess once I did that, I knew that, competing against the D of this world, to the Ricky Graces, to the Shane Hills, to the Derek Ruckers, like, I've done this. Like, the mental aspect, I already got that. I had that every day. But growing up in Australia taught me the beauty of it was the fundamentals that they teach in the venues of learning how to think first. And if you look at the United States, you see the Steve Francis, who I played against in junior colleges, to the guys of having to, create their own path to be known and recognize that I got to score, I got to get the buckets, I got to make this move, and every day people are coming out to see me, so I got to put on a show. We're just happy to be a part of the team. And then you realize that I can do a little more. But how can you affect the game? Because I don't want to take away from my teammates. And it's like, well, can you crawl up 94 feet? So I learned how to steal a ball pretty quickly. As you're dribbling down the court, I can take it off you. Now I learned how to read the game off the ball. When you pass to someone, I read the next pass. So making a different impact, and being able to share the ball was even more recognized. And it was like, wow, he's even a greater player. But then when he went across that water to the States, it was like, I just want to win. And the way I'm going to get my jersey to hang up here or be remembered in my color ranks to wherever I go, that's what my dad's done in Australia. He's already remembered. So from kid, he was remembered in Geelong, he was remembered in Brisbane to Perth, and he set a standard. And as a kid, I just wanted that, and I saw the impact that he made and what sport was able to do for him in his life. And I was like, this is a gold ticket, and I think people recognize it. And not everyone gets to that stage, but I was fortunate enough, and I was blessed enough to not have too many injuries along the way. And I was blessed with his a little bit bigger than my pops, So yeah, that was an added bonus. But
I said I feel blessed to just be 5'9", and that's what my platform shoes on. Because when I was trying out with the pros, they told me I was 5'7". I was devastated. I had an afro, and I'm standing tall, and that's where it all started. For me, just to be aiming to be an NBA player, and missing out on that, and then of course having to go back to a regular job and back in New York, and I was taught school for a while. Everybody probably wouldn't know that I was a school teacher for a year. And once I achieved that status, then I felt I can hopefully, doing the trials in the summer tournaments, playing against the NBA, I get a shot, and I ended up in San Antonio with the Spurs, and that was great to get switching camps to the NBA preseason, and then I was just about to make it, and then back, the last exhibition game, you get cut. Where is the blessing for me, because he took everything to a whole new level, and we often talk about, does that differentiate, the games, and he was just a player, and my thing was always, because I was a player coach and because I had a family and those responsibilities, I found it difficult, particularly after it was a dream to go through. He had his mom and his dad. I had my mom. She struggled after my call and was taken away from my home stage. I got two sisters. One of my sons younger than me, and she's intellectually handicapped, and she's albino. And I was taking her to school with me, and the kids was telling me, let go of that girl's hand. White girl, because I grew up in the 60s, when there was a lot of discrimination. And I said, that ain't no white girl. That's my sister. Yeah, oh no, she's a white girl. So now I got my dukes up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And I get suspended from school, but I can't tell my mom because, boy, that's a whipping coming. So I gotta leave. I'm going to school every day with my sister and go hide in the laundromat for the day. And then finally my mom realized that that wasn't an environment to bring me up in. And my baby sister was born a month after my dad died. So that was really tough for a single mom, So we, that's a little man, and that sort of competitive and fight brought me to where I am today, And it's been a challenge, but I love my life and my story. I got a story. Don't worry about that. I think coming here and have to go through Geelong and Brisbane and Perth and everything, but why does he have to move to Hobart? Back to Perth, and then just Canberra, and then out of Canberra to Sydney. And each port has been some heartbreak, like when you go to Geelong and you lead to 2 back-to-back championships in the VBA, and they've been in the grand final in their first year in the NBL, and being a player coach. And then you play in Western divisions back then, because we had 17 NBL teams, and you win the West Division twice, but you can't get over that hump. Then you'd be told that, okay, we got to half your salary because we don't want you to play coach no more. And we want you to accept a pay cut. And I'm thinking, why? Like, I've tried to do everything I could to help the team. Like, and I got a young family, and they said, well, sorry, take it or leave it. So my attitude was like, you know what? I got to leave it. So I was in women's shoes, in a shoe shop with my man, Wayne McDaniel. I better give him a shout out. He was in the men's shop. I was in the women's shop. I was selling, they had me, because I had to keep running to the back, getting more shoes for them women. And finally, the opportunity came to go back to Brisbane. And then I get there and win a championship. And I get a chance to represent Australia. And then the next year we in the championship again. We lose. And I'm told that, you know what,